This credit creation process, how does it happen? Credit means loan. So creation of credit means creation of loans. Now, who is the main party involved in it? It is the public and the commercial banks. Try and figure out what the process is all about. Somebody like me deposited the money with the bank. That bank, after getting this deposit, will keep some part of it as reserve for emergencies. Now, these reserves are of two types. Some reserves have to be kept with the RBI, called the CRR, and some reserves are to be kept with the bank itself, that is called the SLR, and the remaining that can be given as a loan to somebody. Now, when this loan is given to someone, that someone does not get the loan in cash. This is an assumption for the process. So that person's account is credited with the amount. So loan which is provided comes back to the bank as a deposit. And then again, from that deposit, something is kept as reserved and the loan is given to the third person, and so on and so forth. The process continues. This is the process of credit creation. So the process is based on the idea that bank receives deposit, keeps some amount as reserves, which is directed by central bank, and then lends the remaining amount, gives the remaining amount as loan. And this loan again comes back to the banks in the form of another deposit. Banks will again keep some part as reserves and will lend the remaining. This continues. Firstly, we are making two assumptions. The first assumption is that all the banking units are treated as one unit, so we call it bank. The second, there are no cash transactions. So whatever is payment to be done, whatever is to be received, everything is routed through the banks. Let's understand through an example. So person A, let's say I, deposited 100 rupees in HDFC. The legal reserve ratio, what has to be kept with the bank itself and with the RBI, together it is called LRR. So we are assuming that the total reserve that the bank has to keep, the LRR, is 20%. The bank keeps 20% of 100. The calculations are here. So 20% of 100, which is 20 rupees, is kept as reserves. The remaining left 80 rupees are given as loans. Now these loans come back to the bank in the form of deposit. So what is happening? The loan itself is becoming a deposit. So by giving loan, the bank was able to create a deposit of 80 rupees, right? From this 80 rupees, again 20%, which is 16 as the calculations show. That 16 is kept as reserved, and the remaining amount, which is 64, that is given as loan. This loan again to whosoever is given, उनके अकाउंट में चला जाता है, तो फिर से बैंक के पास ये लोन डिपॉजिट बन के आता है. बैंक by giving loans is actually creating deposits. So in the end, when we add all the deposits, definitely the deposits will be much higher than what I deposited in the first round, which is 100, right? So the question arises, how do we find out what will be the total? Should we sit and calculate the whole table? No need. There is one formula to find out where this thing ends. The formula is given by money multiplier MM is equal to 1 upon LRR. In our example, the LRR is 20%. I have done the calculations, finally comes out to be 5. This 5 is money multiplier. That means the banks are able to multiply the money that they get 5 times. What they got was 100. They were able to make it 5 times, which is 500. So what they created as loans was 500 minus what they got, 100, which is 400. So the total deposits are initial deposits, which are 100, into money multiplier, which we calculated. Now, what are the factors that affect this process? Now, there are two factors. The first one is the initial deposit. अगर मैंने पिछले example में आपको 1000 initial deposit दिया होता, तो answer 5000 होता. Second thing depends on money multiplier, which in turn is dependent on legal reserve ratio. कैसे depend करता है? I have given an example. See, if we take LRR 25%, money multiplier comes out to be 4. In the second, if we are taking LRR 10% and we've put the formula, MM comes out to be 10. When we take LRR 5%, the formula, that comes out to be 20. Look what is happening. as LRR is falling, 25 से 10 हुआ, उससे 5 हुआ, the money multiplier's value is increasing. So there is an inverse relation between LRR and money multiplier. Higher the LRR, lower the money multiplier. Lower the LRR, higher the money multiplier. RBI controls by controlling LRR. Thank you so much.